Hello everyone, this is Joshua. I'm going to answer question 1, question 4, and question 7. So question 1, we're supposed to calculate the new indicated gross rate. So in order to calculate the new indicated gross rate, we need the loss per exposure and we need expenses per exposure. But we know that we have the loss given a data set, but we don't have the fixed expenses, but we do have exposure. So in that case, loss per exposure plus fixed expenses, let me do the exposure, per exposure will be just equal to loss per exposure because the fixed expense is not given, so that will be 0 here. And then we can also find the average premium, that is the premium divided by the exposure. The exposure given the solution in X is denoted as X to be the exposure. Okay. So now with all the parts given, we can calculate the new indicated gross rate to be the loss per exposure and the expenses per exposure, all divided by the permissible loss ratio, which is similar to the expected loss ratio. So that is 40 over 0.6 gives us the indicated gross rate. With question 4, we are asked to compute the permissible loss ratio. Just like I mentioned in question 1, permissible loss ratio is such that you have to subtract 1 minus all variable expenses. 1 minus all variable expenses, and then minus the profit, denoted as Q. The profit is denoted as Q. So let's see what we have here. We do have commission, which is variable expense, other acquisition expense, which is also variable, and we have profit, which is part of the permissible loss ratio formula. So we just keep it there, and we have taxes and general expenses. This is not fixed expenses, so we just keep it as part of the permissible loss ratio. So back here we have 15.5%. We have 15.5%. We have 5%. We have taxes here, and then we do have general expenses, all minus the profit provision, 0.3 to get a permissible loss ratio. And the second question is asking us to compute the experience loss and LAE ratio for the 3-year combined. For the 3-year combined, we do have the exposures given in territory. So the territory 1 and 2 and 3. So we're going to sum all the territories. Like we sum the territories. We're going to sum the years for each territory. So plus 10 plus 15 plus 20. Then all these times the base rate for the current year. So 140. So let's see what we have here. So we have 10. We have it here. 15 and 20 multiplied by the base rate. That is 140. And we do the same thing to the third territory. That's 30, 35, 40. We have 30, 35, and 40. Not this one. 140, the base rate, to get the experience loss and LAE ratio, loss adjustment expense ratio for the 3-year combined. And then the next part of the question is to calculate the overall rate indication. So the overall rate indication is, sorry, the overall rate indication. So for these, we actually just like indicator rate, and then let's say the indicator rate is P premium I, and then we divide by the current premium, and then we subtract the current premium, just to find the rate change. So PI, PC all over PC, and then we can break it down to be PI over PC minus 1. So this is the one we have here. So we see that everything is divided by the PC, which is the current premium. And in order to find the current premium, we need to use what we have already computed as B, part B, this one, to be the current premium. And then now we have the loss. We need to compute for the loss. We need to compute for the loss plus the fixed expenses. And we have that given in the question, so we just bring it here. So we have 6,000, 4,000, and 8,000. The total, the ultimate loss, 6,000, 4,500, 8,000. And then we trend it with a factor, and this factor is gotten from the unallocated over the allocated adjustment loss expenses. So here we have let's see, like unallocated, so 75 divided by the 9,000, to get the trending factor. Then we trend the losses to the current level. So with the loss trended to the current level, we can just, so the losses trended to the current level divided by the current premium all over the permissible loss ratio, which is given. The permissible loss ratio, which we have computed in part A. So we have, and then all by part B all over part A minus 1 to get the ratio to be 13.2%. For question 7, we are to calculate the experience period, trended developed loss, and allocated loss adjustment expense. So we have been given the projected rate to be effective January 1, 2003, and it's in for 1 year. So that will be 2003 here to 2004, the beginning of 2004. We have 1 year, and we do have experience accident period 1 to 1st January 2000 to 30th June. That is 1.5 year. So let me say this is 2000. Here, this is 2000, and then 2001. And then for accident year, we need to find the midpoint. So the midpoint will be October 2000. So October 2000 to 2001, that is 3 months. So that's 3 over 12. And then we get the other values from 2001, 2002, and 2000. Ending of 2003 is 3 years plus 3 over 12. That is 3.25. So we've got a trending factor, and we have annual trending factor as well. So we're gonna multiply that 3.25 as we got here by the annual trending factor times the developed accident period loss, this one. So this is 2001, 21,500 times 3.25. Okay, That's what we have here. So the B part is to calculate the experience period on level earned premium. So for the on-level earned premium, we need the base rate times exposure. And let me just tackle this for. So for the exposure, we do have 200 exposure for a full year, and we remember that we were given for 2001, it ends on June 30th June. So we can say half of that exposure, 100 plus 200 gives us 300. So we do have 300 here. And then back to the premium. So we have the rate change from 2000 to 2001. So the base rate as given the question is $120. So $120 times 1.1 times 85%. Sorry, 0.85%, because we have 15% reduction in 2001 to get the premium, to get the average premium 120, and then we multiply that by the exposure. We multiply these by the exposure, which is 200 in 2000 plus 100 in 2001 to get the current premium. So with that, now we have the current premium. We can just divide that by the loss, and then all divided by the permissible loss ratio minus 1, as I explained in question 4, to get our total indicated rate change to be 8.2%. Thank you all.